Welcome to Around San Diego. So glad to have you with me. I'm Jenny Day, and I'll get you caught up on a week's worth of news and look ahead in just 30 minutes. So we do begin with a Working For You investigation into higher water bills all across the city of San Diego. One customer just received a $16,000 water bill, in fact. CBS 8's David Godfredson talked with the couple who says they got it in the mail with no warning.
Well, it's a large bill, $16,000, so it was a pretty big shock to us to have a bill for that amount of money.
Rick and Hiba Graham received the whopping $16,000 water bill earlier this month from the city of San Diego. This after discovering a few months ago that they had not received any water bill for the past 16 months.
I thought Hiba was taking care of the bill, she thought I was taking care of the bill, and then it clicked for us that we haven't gotten a bill from the city for many months.
After 50 minutes on hold, Hiba finally got through by telephone to the Public Utilities Department.
The way it was explained to me was that when there is a change in either excessive or under usage, their system stops billing as almost as a way to have somebody check and ensure that there wasn't an error.
The couple lives in Santa Luz off Carmel Valley Road, and they believe the bill is correct because their typical water bill is about $1,000 a month.
We have sprinkler systems out here that are automated, and there's quite a bit of vegetation here that gets watered in the front yard.
They reached out to CBS 8 wanting to know why the city never notified them that their account had been flagged and their billing was suspended.
They seem to have an automated system that stops the billing from going out, requiring manual review, which could take up to a year. Well, there should be some other technological advance that could allow them to communicate with the customers. I'm on the board of directors of a software company. I know that these things can be solved with software, and this manual approach is just unacceptable.
I reached out to the city of San Diego, and they emailed me a statement saying, in part, the city is working on an IT system enhancement that would timely notify customers whenever their bill is held in our billing system. And they estimated, quote, the enhancement will be fully developed by fall. The city says customers with past due bills can pay off those balances over time without penalty and without late fees. If you receive very large water bills in the mail, or you just stop receiving bills from the water department altogether, give us a call because we're working for you. In Kearny Mesa, David Godfredson, CBS 8.
Yeah, and really thousands of San Diegans are dealing with delayed water bills that cost thousands of dollars. We now know that the issue has been happening for years. The City of San Diego Public Utilities Department puts accounts on hold if they notice water use is abnormally high or low so that they can look into it. You are not being billed during the investigation, but you're also not being alerted until you get several months of bills all at once. An audit from 2018 says the department had a bad track record telling customers about delayed bills. The city says staff issues have really prevented the issue from being resolved. It also says that it's working on upgrading the billing system. Remember, if there is a problem that you'd like us to look into, email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com. Well, Rady's Children's Hospital is sadly seeing a surge in kids experiencing a mental health crisis. The hospital says that it's had a 30% increase since the pandemic. Rady Children's says that there are many factors that can cause mental health crisis. Experts say that this includes social isolation from the pandemic, stress of families, academic pressures, and social media. During the start of the school year, the hospital says that it also sees an increase in kids in crisis.
And what's bringing the majority of families in is very unfortunately thoughts or actions towards suicide that their children are experiencing. So that's the vast majority of what we're seeing, which really indicates truly the children are in crisis.
Yes, just far too young. So they say that parents should watch for changes in your child's behavior, them isolating themselves, trouble sleeping, or school performance. Meantime, Kaiser Permanente union workers could be one step closer to walking off the job next week. In 4 days, 85,000 healthcare workers will vote whether or not to authorize a strike if contract negotiations fail. Kaiser workers say facilities are understaffed, which is leading to employee burnout. They say this is causing decrease in patient care quality. The current contract expires on September 30th, so if authorized, a strike could begin as early as October. And East Village residents are raising concerns about a park in their neighborhood. Residents say that Faultline Park is being trashed and becoming less safe. East Village Doers is a group that advocates for the neighborhood. People involved say that they have found trash and even needles at the park. They are hoping more can be done to clean it up.
This is it. This is what we have for a green space. This is used by everyone, the whole community. And we want it to be clean. We want it to be safe.
Yeah, so there will be a community cleanup happening on August 31st from 9 a.m. to noon. East Village Doers is hopeful that the community will join them. Well, San Diego police are looking for the man that they say attacked a local rabbi. The attack happened at a 7-Eleven near San Diego State last month. CBS 8's Kirsten Holmes talked with the investigators working this case.
It's horrible. Like, I came to this college expecting to have a community of people where they can all be with one another, and that's not a community where everyone can be who they want.
Eva, Sienna, and Lucy just started school at San Diego State University this week, and they say they're shocked that a hate crime happened so close to campus. Sienna says the shock wore off quickly.
I mean, at the same time, it's kind of not surprising. There's a lot of hate in the world, and we're such a partisan country at the moment that it's not surprising, but it's awful.
Like, we should be worrying about classes and social events and whatever, and not hate crimes.
This 65-year-old rabbi is inside the 7-Eleven store, and this man comes in, makes some anti-Semitic comments, and ends up ripping some of the rabbi's clothing.
I spoke with Lieutenant Adam Sharkey with San Diego Police late this afternoon. He says crimes like this will not be tolerated in San Diego.
These kind of crimes, they tear at the fabric of our communities.
Is there a rise in anti-Semitism or anti-Semitic hate crimes in our area?
So in hate crimes, not necessarily. But what we have seen recently, and the news has reported on this, are these anti-Semitic incidents or hate incidents. What I'm referring to is the flyers that have been put up in different parts of San Diego, and usually in the eastern part, Lake Murray, Del Cerro, San Carlos area.
As we've been reporting, the suspect in this case is described as a white man, late 20s to early 30s, 5'8", with an average build with wavy long hair, possibly dreadlocks. Sharkey says if you see something, say something, even when it's a hate crime.
We've certainly seen a spike in the last couple of weeks with these flyers, and then obviously we have this hate crime in a 7-Eleven store. It's concerning to us. We investigate these incidents, and we ask for the community's help, both in supporting the community and also in helping us solve these crimes when crimes do occur.
Kirsten Holmes, CBS 8.
Yeah, pretty clear surveillance images there, Kirsten, thank you. Well, police in El Cajon say the city's new license plate readers are showing some success, leading to several arrests. The department announced that the new tech helped police find 3 suspected car thieves just this week. They also led to the arrest of a man wanted on a felony warrant in San Bernardino County. Now, right now, there are 40 license plate reading cameras throughout El Cajon. They send real-time alerts to police when a stolen car or wanted person is detected in the state or national crime database. Well, now to the first mug shot of a former U.S. president. Thursday, former President Trump was booked into a Georgia jail on felony charges, accusing him of trying to overturn the 2020 election results in Georgia. The former president is back at his New Jersey golf club now. He flew back after posting bond. He did surrender to authorities at the Fulton County Jail earlier in the day. Now, right now, a shortage of air control center workers is leading to some flight restrictions for non-airliners surrounding San Diego International Airport. Chopper 8 and all other civilian non-commercial flights were denied access to the most restrictive airspace surrounding the airport, known as Class Bravo. Now, this again is due to staffing limitations with air traffic controllers. While this highlights a nationwide shortage of air traffic controllers, one aviation expert that we spoke with says that these flight restrictions are all being done in the name of safety.
If, for example, they're barring the helicopters from Class Bravo airspace, that's because they don't have that position available. They don't have enough people to provide that exact service. So in the name of safety, we're going to, the FAA and the towers are going to restrict those services that they can deliver because they can't deliver them with the utmost safety in mind.
Yeah, such an important and really difficult job. So he also pointed out that this is the safest time to fly in the history of the U.S. National Airspace System, with no fatal crashes of a major U.S. airliner in the past 14 years. The Biden administration says it is currently seeking funding to hire and train more air traffic controllers. Well, right now, as of Friday morning, a boil water advisory is in effect for portions of San Diego, Chula Vista, Imperial Beach, and the Silver Strand area of Coronado. San Diego County officials say they found E. coli bacteria in drinking water. Officials recommend boiling all water for 3 minutes, even if it is filtered tap water. They encourage people to use bottled water for drinking, brushing teeth, washing hands, and preparing food. Don't use any water from any appliances connected to your water line, such as ice from your fridge. Restaurants and other businesses in affected areas have been forced to close or modify operations. Public swimming pools and spas also have to discontinue operations. Some worry the closures will impact businesses.
Signs like this are posted on the front doors of many businesses here in Imperial Beach and parts of Coronado after many were forced to shut down. I spoke to people who work and live in the areas affected about how the advisories are impacting them. Some worry the closures will impact businesses that have also been affected.
Yeah, so this boil water comes as communities in the South Bay also deal with beach closures due to sewage contamination. E. coli infections can lead to diarrhea, cramps, nausea, headaches, or other symptoms. The elderly, young children, and people with severely compromised immune systems are especially at risk. And this week, City of San Diego and county officials were warning people to stay away from the ocean water already because of rain runoff contamination. The city closed the beaches ahead of Hillary. Then they recommended people avoid swimming and surfing up to 72 hours after it rains, which thankfully that time frame has now passed. Despite the closures, though, and an advisory, you know it, people still hit the beach earlier this week.
We were still able to catch some waves, have a good time. Why did you have to be on my vacation?
I know, not great timing. So yeah, South Bay beaches are closed indefinitely. People who live in Imperial Beach say that ongoing sewage pollution from Mexico, of course, gets worse when it rains. More on Hillary now. Palm Springs and Cathedral City are some of the communities in Southern California that bore the brunt of Tropical Storm Hillary. Record rainfall created flash flooding and really dangerous road conditions. Cathedral City's fire chief says his crews made 46 rescues. Adding debris made up of sand, mud, and water made it difficult to reach people. On one call, emergency crews used a bulldozer to rescue people who were stranded inside of an assisted living community. Crews sat them inside the front of that bulldozer and then thankfully drove them to safety. Wow. Well, these Caltrans crews work to clear boulders the size of school buses on the 8 near Ocotillo. Officials say the boulders crashed onto the lanes during Tropical Storm Hillary. They say it's taking crews a while to move those boulders because they have to be taken apart, whether by drilling or explosives. Cars were backed up for miles going to and from San Diego before some were finally let through.
We were probably only slowed down about 20 minutes and then got to pick up again.
I already have an 18-hour drive, so it's whatever. It is what it is.
Oh, yeah, so to clear the traffic, Caltrans let eastbound drivers take westbound lanes in 15-minute intervals. Wow. So the San Diego Humane Society, also impacted by Hillary, their Project Wildlife team has seen an increase in wildlife rescues because of the storm. Humane officers have rescued fox, squirrels, hooded oriole, and stray cats and dogs. If you come across any displaced wildlife, shelter officials suggest doing this.
If you find an injured or orphaned wild animal, you don't want to touch them with your hands. Maybe put them in a towel, in a box. Don't give them water. Don't give them any food. Just bring them to us.
Yeah, the Humane Society says since the ground is more saturated after the storm, it's important to check the stability of fencing around your house to make sure that your pets are safe and can't run away. Well, San Diegans may have dodged major damage from Hurricane Hilary, but that may not be the case next time. Experts say that not just in California, but nationwide, Americans are underinsured when it comes to flood damage. CBS 8's Abby Black is working for you to help you decide if you need flood insurance.
Now that Hilary's moved on and you're moving the sandbags out of the way, you need to look ahead on other ways that you can protect your home if it floods. We're working for you on what you need to know about flood insurance.
Flood insurance was not top of mind before Hurricane Hilary, especially in Palm Springs, but today it is.
Who has flood insurance in a desert?
It wasn't just Hilary that caused damage. San Diego and California have been soaked with rain this year, yet experts say only 12% of Americans have flood insurance.
We all have to think about how do we protect against the new and increasing risk that we have with climate change.
Doug Heller, the director of insurance for the watchdog nonprofit Consumer Federation of America, told me one of those protections is buying flood insurance.
Flood insurance is not in your homeowner's insurance policy.
Rather, I found it's like California earthquake insurance. It's a separate policy available in San Diego County that's regulated by FEMA under the National Flood Insurance Program known as NFIP, but there is a max on coverage.
You have $250,000 coverage for your home and up to, I think it's $100,000 in coverage for personal property in your home.
FEMA recently revised its rate, so we wanted to know how much flood insurance will cost you.
In California, we've seen a lot of increases, numbers in the $1,000 range.
I also tracked down the NFIP website and found if you type in your zip code, you can find the average cost in your neighborhood, but your insurance agent can set it up and give you a quote too. It will take 30 days to kick in. I learned if you want more coverage, you can go through a private company, but Heller warns there are risks, especially if the company goes under.
Find out if the company is called a surplus lines insurance company, and if so, understand that you don't have all the same protections.
Now, there are exceptions. We found if you live in a high-risk flood area, you are required to buy flood insurance.
If you're in the area of a previous burn scar from a wildfire, and that is considered part of the reason that there was flooding, you may have coverage from your home insurance.
We may be drying out now, but Heller tells us the rain is not going away.
Climate change is really doing a number on us, and we have to face that now by investing on the front end.
Working for you, Abby Black, CBS 8.
Yeah, interesting, Abby, thank you. Well, local geologists say that San Diegans should be cautious around the cliffs for the next few days as the ground is still drying out. Geologists are monitoring bluffs up and down our coast after Tropical Storm Hilary. The surface may appear dry, but deeper in the soil, there's still plenty of moisture. As of now, Dr. Pat Abbott from San Diego State says things are looking good.
Instead of coming in with the force we expected, luckily the storm made landfall over 200 miles down in Baja California, lost a lot of energy coming up here to cross the border, and then traveled across the county remarkably fast.
Yeah, he's such a pro. So still, of course, be safe around those bluffs. Don't set up camp underneath them either, and listen to those lifeguards. And Tropical Storm Hilary's heavy rains left behind a lot of standing water, which are prime conditions to bring more mosquitoes. A supervising vector ecologist says that female mosquitoes lay their eggs in wet areas. The larvae live in the water while maturing into an adult. The County of San Diego Vector Control Program suggests emptying out any water stored in things like watering cans or saucers underneath plants. A very small amount of water can be enough for them to breed. So, let's do our part. Well, Tuesday, San Diego Unified School District celebrated the first day of school. It was pushed back a day because of Tropical Storm Hilary. The district held a welcome back party at Hoover High School in the morning. There were cheerleaders, mascots, and even a mariachi band. Superintendent says that this school year will be full of accomplishments for all.
We want to create the conditions where you can thrive, and so we have a renewed commitment to the values and the vision of our community. We are moving from 5 to 15 community schools. We will continue our support for mental health.
All good stuff. So yeah, San Diego Unified is also introducing 5 new girls sport programs: beach volleyball, competitive and stunt cheerleading, cross country, flag football, and wrestling. And kids are now, of course, back in school, but with that comes the risk of spreading illnesses. Health officials say that we could be facing that triple-demic once again this winter. That includes the flu, RSV, and COVID all at once. Doctors at Rady Children's Hospital say cases of RSV and the flu are low in San Diego right now, but they do anticipate they'll go up when it starts getting colder. They say parents should get their kids vaccinated.
Don't forget the lessons you learned during that pandemic. Take your precautions when you sense that there might be something that's out there, you know.
Yeah, so the RSV vaccine will be available to everyone this year. Doctors are seeing a rise in COVID cases, so the CDC is recommending that everyone 6 years and older get the vaccine. An updated version will be available soon, and the flu shot is available starting next month. Well, the fall quarter is about 1 month away at UC San Diego, and thousands of students will not be able to live on campus. CBS 8's Ariana Cohen went to campus to talk to students and UC San Diego officials about the housing shortage.
Yes, UCSD had 42,000 students last fall. They're likely to set a new record this fall. And now thousands of students won't have a place to live on campus. UCSD officials reported more than 2,300 students are on waiting lists for on-campus housing this school year, beginning September 25th. Paul Halka is one of them. He didn't want to show his face on camera, but he says he's been driving all the way from Temecula to get to campus and would rather live on campus.
A little annoyed. I just wish they could give me like a solid answer. Maybe like a yes or a no, you got in or you didn't get in, so I can actually see other options, especially with 2,000 on the wait list.
The wait list is forcing many students to find off-campus housing. Sydney Taylor lives off campus with roommates and pays $5,000 total per month.
I think it's pretty terrible that they promised a lot of students housing and weren't able to provide it. So I think it's really tough for those who are just coming to college and are already super stressed out about trying to find a place to live.
Maybe a little compensation, for people that, could get into the housing, and waited for a while, just get an answer. That'd be nice.
UCSD had been planning on opening this theater district living and learning neighborhood, a student village with 2,000 beds. But school officials say the multi-million-dollar project fell behind schedule.
It's obviously very unfortunate, but I wouldn't say that's that unexpected, because with how fast the construction is trying to, build new housing and all that, it was kind of expected that they're not going to meet their deadline.
UCSD told CBS 8, quote, "The university understands the challenge of finding affordable housing near campus and resources are available. The university negotiated discounted rates with Residence Inn San Diego, a hotel in La Jolla. The rates only apply if students stay at least 90 days.
I mean, to be honest, it doesn't seem ideal. I think it's going to be very expensive for them, even at a discounted rate. The university could have done a better job with it. It seemed like they were very hopeful and it didn't really pan out, but I think that if they had planned for it ahead of time, it would have been smarter.
University officials also say these framework apartments on the UC San Diego Blue Line, starting at $2,300, will be available for undergraduate students moving to campus in the fall. University officials say 3 projects are underway to provide housing for 5,700 students by 2025. Ariana Cohen, CBS 8.
Ariana, thank you. Well, North County's largest city takes a major step toward cracking down on plastic pollution. The city of Oceanside joined a growing number of cities throughout the county and state to ban styrofoam and single-use plastics. While supporters say this is a critical step in protecting the environment, some opponents pointed out the costs that comes with this move.
It's ridiculous. Am I going to charge in a little souvenir shop more money, or am I expected to bear the brunt of it myself?
Plastic's a problem for our ocean, for our beaches, and for our communities, and for public health of humans and animals as well.
Yeah, so under the ordinance, the use of styrofoam by Oceanside businesses will be prohibited starting in July of next year, while single-use plastic bags will be banned starting in January of 2025. Well, the state and county's first small format Macys store will soon open at the Santee Trolley Square Shopping Center. It's all part of the retail company's effort to offer more convenient shopping. The new mini store is expected to open later this year. It will feature curated selections of clothing, beauty products, luxury fragrances, and more. Kind of cool. So the San Diego County location is one of 4 smaller concept stores that Macys announced will be opening across the country. Well, people across the county have been posting pictures on social media and sending them to us as well of tarantulas on their property, and in some cases even inside their home. Turns out there's a good reason why we're seeing a lot more of them. CBS 8's Steve Price picked up a tarantula of his own to explain what's going on.
It was big, fuzzy, and on the couch.
Oh my gosh, it was like this big.
Julie Estrada doesn't mind holding fake tarantulas at work, but the Legoland PR director says this real one inside her house the other day freaked her out.
I'm not used to seeing those on my couch on a normal day.
Julie's not alone. San Diego is seeing a lot more tarantulas these days, most of them males.
They're all looking for love.
Matt Thomas, the manager at Pet Kingdom, says they're usually spotted more often in the East County, but they'll venture closer to the coast too.
The females this time of year, September, October, they will put pheromones on their webs, and that attracts the males to them, so the males can find the girls. So that's what we're seeing right now.
Matt says the tarantulas we have in San Diego are pretty harmless. For most people, a bite will cause a little swelling that goes down in an hour or two, much like a bee sting. But he says they are definitely not trying to seek you out. They're more into bugs.
If you have roaches in your house, just let a bunch of tarantulas go, and you won't have a roach problem anymore.
If you do come across one in your house, Matt says, please don't kill it. Instead, relocate it outside.
Easiest way is just put one hand down in front of the tarantula, take your other hand and just tap it on the abdomen a little bit, and it'll just move forward, just like this one did.
As long as you are gentle, you shouldn't have any problems. But if they show signs of being defensive, like rearing up on their hind legs, that means they are getting annoyed, and you should back off for a bit.
Part of the defense mechanism is they'll actually kick hairs out and they'll irritate you.
He says that feels a lot like stinging nettle. Annoying, but not life-threatening. So while finding a tarantula in your home is not ideal, hey, it could be worse. It's also rattlesnake season.
Ah, Steve, that's scarier. Yeah, that would be scarier. I don't even like ants in my house, but yeah, to have a spider that size, it was scary.
In our county, we usually see California ebony or San Diego bronze tarantulas, which you are not allowed to buy in stores. It's illegal. So this is a Mexican red knee tarantula, which you are allowed to buy. The good folks at Pet Kingdom loaned it to me so I could show you one. They say a lot of San Diegans buy these as pets. Steve Price, CBS 8.
I like how the guy thinks I'm going to put it in my hand. Ooh, my goodness. Again, they're just looking for love. Well, what you're looking at here, a surfer is being called a hero, and his life-saving actions were all caught on camera. The man noticed another surfer struggling in the water, and that's when he took action. CBS 8's Sean Stiles has a closer look at the rescue and how he was honored.
Surfing is a beautiful and elegant sport, but it can be very dangerous. Just about 2 months ago, a surfer was out here and nearly drowned, if not for the efforts of another surfer.
I just kind of went with that momentum into a head first dive into probably 2-3 feet of water. Hit the bottom really hard.
At this point, Doug Moyes is thinking normal wipeout.
But my body would not cooperate. I was looking at my arms and legs floating, just dangling in the water and could not move.
Doug knew someone had to help.
I didn't have a lot of time left, and just by chance, he got that wave.
That's when he felt a touch.
Then all of a sudden, I felt something on my chin. I thought it was a piece of kelp, but it was Jackson's hand very carefully supporting my neck as he turned me over.
Jackson Huffman has been a surfer all his life, and that's when his instincts kicked in.
Once he started talking to me, I realized it was probably Nick, and so that's why I spent a lot of time just going slowly and making sure everything was stable.
Huffman's in-water diagnosis was spot on. Moyes had suffered a C3 fracture and a major stinger. Once lifeguards saw what was happening, they immediately jumped in.
Once we got him on the stairs on the seawall, I almost needed a paramedic myself. I was so gassed.
Thanks for going, doing a great service there.
For his efforts to help another surfer, Jackson Huffman was honored today by the Sunset Cliff Surfing Association for his acts of heroism.
See him 2 days later walk in the shop and give me a big hug. It was pretty heart-wrenching. It felt really good to just help someone out and have everything turn out good.
In Jackson Huffman's efforts, it's a sign to all of us to look out for each other. Sean Stiles, CBS 8.
Yeah, good advice. Easy to do, and so glad he's okay. Sean, thanks. Well, San Diego Loyal fans are preparing to say goodbye after the soccer club announced that it will be its last season. The team has been playing at USD's Torero Stadium, which holds 5,000 people, but the ownership group says they really needed a stadium 3 times that size and had no luck finding one. Now fans say that the team will be greatly missed.
It's quite devastating to hear that kind of news.
We have a large soccer fan base in San Diego, so I know it's going to be missed.
Yeah, the soccer club has 10 remaining matches left for the season, which does include 4 home games. Another Major League Soccer team is expected to come to San Diego in 2025, playing at Snapdragon Stadium. Well, some orphan dogs rescued from the wildfires in Maui are now calling San Diego home. CBS 8's Steve Price is at the Helen Woodward Animal Center with a look at some of the pups that you'll soon be able to adopt and shows us how other local animal organizations are helping out.
Meet Kula and Hana, 2 orphaned animals from Maui that have been sent here to San Diego to free up shelter space over there. These guys and some of their friends will soon be available for adoption here. 6 dogs arrived last night and are having a great first day at the Helen Woodward Animal Shelter.
Amazing. I mean, incredible. I think the incredible thing about animals is how resilient they are, and seeing them come back from such a long trip, but then they've been playing with each other, they've been cuddling with us, kissing us.
They're getting 6 more dogs today and 6 more tomorrow.
We're trying to take animals that were in the shelters even before the fire, get them over here so they can find forever homes, and then that opens up space for all the lost animals that they're trying to gather at the shelter and start to try to reconnect them to their families.
Helen Woodward is just one of several local organizations helping furry friends from the fire zone.
Hi, baby.
We caught up with Cane's Canines and Animal Rescue at the airport Wednesday as they welcomed 6 cats from a shelter in Kauai, freeing up space there for cats from Maui. Unfortunately, a lot of shelter space is needed.
The total number of animals that we came into contact with was almost 1,100.
Summer Piper is a member of the San Diego Humane Society's emergency response team. They just spent a week in Maui trying to catch injured animals that needed medical treatment.
A lot of singed faces, singed fur, and a lot of burnt pads. So from walking on the hot ash.
For the San Diego crew, it was both physically and emotionally exhausting. The people there, so grateful to have them there, rescuing pets to ease their pain.
A lot of them are really hurting, and a lot of them are missing their family members, their furry family members. So to try and give peace to some of those people by means of reuniting them with some of their furry family members, that was really rewarding.
It's so good.
The puppies at Helen Woodward need to be vaccinated and spayed or neutered, but otherwise they seem to be in really good health and should be available for adoption next week. Steve Price, CBS 8.
So as for the latest in Hawaii, Maui County is suing the Hawaiian Electric Company over the deadly fires that devastated Lahaina. County officials say the utility failed to shut off power despite high winds and dry conditions. Witness accounts and video have indicated that sparks from power lines set off those fires as utility poles snapped in the winds. At least 115 people were killed and an unknown number of people are still unaccounted for. So far, the Hawaiian Electric Company has not responded to the lawsuit. Well, Tropical Storm Hillary hit the West Coast on the heels of what's been a scorching summer. As our Sean Stiles tells us in this Earth 8 report, a developing El Nino is expected to make our weather even more intense.
July is probably going to go down as one of the warmest globally, maybe the warmest globally temperatures.
Alex Tardy is a meteorologist with the National Weather Service here in San Diego. He says this summer's heat is not just a one-off.
2020, 2021 were the hottest summers on record in California. 2022 last year was right behind it.
While it may seem the Southwest has been suffering under the heat dome that won't let up, much of the Northern Hemisphere has been suffering as well this summer.
What we've really been observing and what's really driving global temperatures is these warm pockets. And these warm pockets in the northern latitudes from Japan to the Gulf of Alaska to the northern Atlantic.
There are two drivers that are throwing the oceans off: excessive ice loss around the North Pole and an overloading of heat absorption into the oceans. And because the oceans are not resetting, cooling back down, they cannot pull as much heat from the atmosphere as they normally would.
Those warm pockets have been around for a long time, years, and they're expanding.
Now add to that a developing El Nino.
But down in the equator, this is brand new over the past couple months. The El Nino is icing on the cake, adding additional warmth to the globe, even though they are not relying or dependent on each other.
Alex Tardy says this El Nino is building and expected to become more intense.
It makes the jet stream a little more consolidated, a little more focused, and a little more energetic. So in the end of the day, it can bring us more rain, more snow, more wind, more active winter. And the tropics is where we're monitoring the enhancement.
These warmer regions of the oceans are not just affecting local weather patterns, but the entire planet.
This is a process that is in the tropics, far from us, but in a source region where all the energy for most of our weather is stored.
And with the oceans holding this excessive heat, that energy will have to be released.
All that warming in the northern latitudes where we live are truly what's resulting in these excessive temperatures, summer, year-long, or even recently, what we've been seeing, not just California, but globally.
Sean Stiles, CBS 8.
Interesting. Sean, thank you as always. Well, back in 2018, Walter Anderson Nursery in Poway decided to see if they could grow a corpse flower to maturity and then have it bloom. Now it looks like they are about to succeed. CBS 8's Sean Stiles shows us when the flower might open.
This flower's botanical name is called Amorphophallus titanum. We know it as the corpse flower. It's here at Walter Anderson's nursery in Poway, and this flower is just about to bloom.
Wow, so it's grown that big.
And that seems to be the reaction from just about everyone when they see the corpse flower. David Ross is a senior manager at Walter Anderson's in Poway and is the answer man.
This was grown from a seed planted in early 2017 or last quarter 2016. We purchased it in December of 2018, and this will be the first year that it's bloomed.
For its first 7 or 8 years, it's a leafy plant. This is what it looks like as a baby. It dies back each year, storing up energy in the bulb to eventually bloom, which is the question on everyone's mind.
I was expecting it to open yesterday or the day before, and now I'm guessing it'll be today, tomorrow, or the day after.
Ross thinks the cooler and cloudy weather from Hillary slowed the process down.
Hopefully it'll bloom in the next couple of days with the warmer weather.
Normally this kind of display is only found in pay-to-play location.
We're open from 9 to 5 daily, and unlike a botanical garden, you can come in and look at this one for free.
Which was happening while we were there today.
At its peak last week, a couple of inches a day.
When it does bloom, be prepared for a fragrance you're not used to.
And the reason they call it corpse flower is because it attracts pollinators that are attracted to the scent of rotting flesh.
Not the nectar smell we're used to.
Well, it is a sweet nectary fragrance if you're a fly. It just depends on what you're trying to attract.
When it does bloom, it will only last a couple days.
When it opens up, if it's open in the evening, we'll probably extend hours on that day so people can come in and see it.
David says if you're coming down to their store in Poway to smell the corpse flower, be prepared. This thing gets pretty stinky. If you don't want to do that, though, you can follow them on their Facebook page. And remember, it's Walter Anderson with an E. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
And just to see how large it is. So interesting, Sean. Thank you once again. Well, as always, thank you to you as well for your time. Thank you for staying informed. For CBS 8, I'm Jenny Day as we take you around San Diego. Take such good care. Appreciate your time.